Life has rules. And just like life, the next 590 or so seconds will represent a microcosm of your life experiences. And as such, there will be rules. The good news is, for some of you, this is going to get you back to remembering some of your own school days. Are you there yet? How about now? Still? No? Incidentally, as I was putting together this talk, I decided to ask some current teachers and students, what are some of the rules that are in their school and their classrooms today? Here's what we discovered. Don't be late. Don't be unkind. Don't be unprepared. No loud noises, no distractions, no bad manners, no hoodies, no horseplay, and no bad choices, ever. The good news is we're not in school. The even better news is that during our time together, we only have one rule you need to abide by. Would you like to know what that is? Don't make me come over there. Would you like to know what that is? Okay. The one rule is that you simply have to come along for the journey. Put another way, when I used to own a yoga studio, oh yes, I'm not only handsome, I'm also flexible. I used to say in my yoga voice, I don't know why that's a thing, but it just is, suspend your disbelief and come along. Imagine you're getting on a train to a wonderful dream destination. When it comes to surrendering yourself and coming along for the journey, can you say, I can? Can you? Will you? Will you? All right, well then here we go. 39 years ago, I had a dream, and that dream was to be able to play with all of the girls in my kindergarten class without them fighting over who would get more time with me. So one day, I decided to take matters into my own hands. When the teacher wasn't looking and the boys were off playing with their cars, I decided to line the girls up. I pulled up a chair, I stood up on the chair, and I said, Andrea, you get Monday. Ezra, you get Tuesday. Sonia, you get Wednesday. And Thursday. In that moment, I discovered that I was a leader. And sometimes leaders have to go around the rules in order to optimize their results. I also learned that people like to follow others who are just a little bit unruly. Now, I went on to use these new rules and new lessons that I learned to do all sorts of amazing things in my life, and perhaps you'll find it entertaining or the definition of an insanity that when, after I finished 22 years of formal education, I decided to return as a head of a high school music department for several years, and as you can see, oh yes, I did it my way in every sense of the expression when it comes to travel experiences and yoga, onesies, and all. Now, of course, teachers have even more rules, if you would believe it, than students. Would you like to know some of the rules that my colleagues and I tried to go around to optimize the experience for our students during my tenure? Yeah. No jeans, no strappy tops, no leggings, no sandals, no rehearsals or sports during staff meetings. We really hated that one. No outside food served, no arriving before 7 a.m., no leaving before 3:30 p.m., even if it was 3:27 and all the students were already dismissed. Hated that one. No staying past 8 p.m. Yeah, right, like that's gonna work as a music teacher. No sarcasm, and no unusually colored hair. So many rules. And look, I get it. Rules are put in place to protect you and to protect others. And in schools, often for kids, they're meant to be put in place to reduce the instances of bullying, but they don't always work. Picture it. 10th grade. You're not quite sure where you fit in yet. You do have a good group of friends that you hang out, and you also have a group of people that you know you don't want to hang around and the places not to go to. Bishop Francis Morocco, Thomas Merton, Catholic Secondary School, 1992, one of the hallway stretches of the second floor. This hallway was a little darker than most halls because it had the photography rooms and the dark rooms. It's also where Rico and his friends had their lockers. Rico was dating Andrea. Yeah, Monday Andrea. And Rico and his friends didn't like that I was able to have good friendships with girls. So one day in the 4 minutes between classes, we were scurrying from one class to another. I turned the corner and there was Rico and his friends, and I passed just close enough that Rico pulled me into the locker and he said, if I ever see you talking to Andrea again, or if my friends and I ever see you walking down this hallway again, I'm gonna mess you up. And he pulled a hammer out of his locker and held it up to my face. The rules that failed there: no weapons. Well, Rico was in shop class, which is a classroom filled with weapons where teachers teach you how to use them. No threats. Well, how is anyone ever going to hear about the threat because of this rule? Remember this one, no tattletaling? That's a rule that messes you up just long enough into adulthood that you don't tell people what's going on. Look, this is not meant to be a criticism of anyone or the system or parents. I've been there on all sides. But let's just be objective for a moment here. The system, the long-standing system of school, is meant to organize people into a container. And in that container, we try to educate, impart knowledge, wisdom, life skills, and the real point is that we assess and evaluate those skills. Just a second here. What if instead of that, I decided to go all in on my students and their well-being first, instead of trying to educate and assess all the things that we're imparting on them? So what does unruly actually mean? According to the dictionary, it's disruptive and not amenable to discipline or control. What if we were disruptive to the monotony of content delivery and curriculum and instead went all in on teaching our kids and empowering them how to express themselves fully and to be who they are? So in my class, I had an unwritten rule where I would teach kids and they had to learn how to express themselves through story. I mean, how would you expect a kid to express themselves on a musical instrument when the answer to "how was your weekend" was What if we went all in on teaching our kids the discipline it takes to build and sustain relationships and community over the long term? Recently, I took on one of my own personal challenges. Maybe it's one for you too. My mindset when it comes to network and multi-level marketing. I know, but listen, as I thought back to my own Catholic upbringing, I realized that the greatest network marketer of all time and community builder is Jesus himself. Think about it. What could you do if you had 12 friends who believed in you implicitly and unquestionably? What if we taught kids to be in control of who they are and to celebrate that? When's the last time you celebrated yourself with confetti blowing by you? I highly recommend it. It's something that we did with our students all the time because we know that when you learn how to accept and receive celebration, it potentially changes the trajectory of your life. It certainly did that for me. So we want to really have kids be able to stand up, to empower them to stand up and say, I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. And if you ask me, with a small adjustment in perspective, unruly seems to embody all of the characteristics that we want our kids to demonstrate. Right? Like, what if we actually had them master control of their own thoughts, beliefs, their actions, their finances, and beyond? What if we had them master the discipline that it takes to transform negative thoughts into positive daily self-reaffirmation? And what if we encourage them, we encourage that positive disruptive behavior that causes us to think different, like Apple? So, look, here's the call to action. This is a call to action for you to find out who you are and do it on purpose, just like Dolly Parton said, a woman who showed up in a time, in a place, in an industry, so in control, so disruptive, so disciplined, where she was never supposed to make it based on who she was and what she looks like. I think that being unruly worked out pretty well for her, don't you? So here's the thing. Rico, back then, he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't realize that it nearly cost me my life. Not by his hammer, but by all of the negative self-talk and the negative stories that I started to tell myself from that situation and situations others like it. When it comes to empowering someone else to be a little bit more confident so that they can see what it looks like and see what it feels like to be more confident, can you? Can you? When it comes to empowering someone and showing them what it looks like to be a visionary leader, will you? Okay, so look, the opening line of my book, Being an Apologetic, reads, life begins with celebration. And let me tell you something, I'm on a mission, right here, right now. It's over my dead body that you would exit this world without the same standing ovation that you arrived with. You are ready now to rethink the beliefs that you've had and the rules that you've lived by your entire life so that you can show someone else what it looks like to be fully empowered. You are ready now to be a little bit more unruly when it's in someone else's best interest. You are ready now to stand up and celebrate who you are, which is just a little bit more unruly. Thank you.
Thrive Union is a real-world community and life school dedicated to human well-being. Our regular events include parties, game nights, supper clubs, hikes, and Thrive meetings to build deep levels of intimacy, empower us to grow, and improve our world. Our life school provides educational videos, articles, conferences, and educational courses. Visit our website at thriveunion.org to learn more.